You've seen those lawns that look like a green carpet rolled straight across the yard? The kind with the crisp stripes and not a single weed anywhere in sight, and figured it must take a professional crew and a fortune in equipment to pull off. It doesn't. Golf course groundskeepers lean on a handful of simple tricks that almost no homeowner ever bothers with, and most of them cost next to nothing. I've gathered up the 10 that make the biggest difference, and we're starting with the ones nobody talks about, the little professional secrets hiding behind that perfect green. The obvious stuff comes at the end. And the very first trick is something you already own the tool for. You've just been neglecting it. We're kicking off with the single most overlooked trick in all of lawn care: sharpening your mower blade. Here's what almost nobody realizes: a dull blade doesn't slice the grass, it tears it, ripping and shredding the top of every blade instead of making one clean cut. And when you rip a blade of grass, the frayed tip dries out and turns a pale, sickly brown. So your whole lawn takes on a dull, grayish cast, no matter how green it actually is underneath. Golf courses sharpen their blades constantly, sometimes every single day, because they know a clean cut is what gives that crisp, healthy look. You don't need to go quite that far. Just pull your blade off 2 or 3 times a season, run a file or a grinder along the edge, and bolt it back on nice and sharp. Take a close look at your grass tips right after you mow. If they're white and frayed, your blade is dull. If they're cut clean, you're already ahead of the whole neighborhood. It's free, it takes 20 minutes, and the difference is night and day. Number 2 is the trick that makes people slow their cars down as they roll past: those beautiful stripes. And here's the part that surprises just about everyone. Those light and dark stripes are not two different kinds of grass, and it isn't different colors either. It's the very same grass the whole way across. The stripes are simply light bouncing off blades that are bent in different directions. Grass bent away from you catches the sun and looks pale and silvery, while grass bent toward you looks dark and rich. That's the entire secret. To do it yourself, you attach a roller or a weighted squeegee to the back of your mower, something that gently presses the grass flat as you pass over it. Then you mow in straight lines, turning around and coming back the other way each time. And the bending does all the work for you. Want that fancy checkerboard look? Just mow the whole lawn a second time in straight lines running the other direction. It adds almost no effort. It costs next to nothing to rig up, and suddenly your yard looks like the outfield of a ballpark. Number 3 is a genuine professional secret that hardly any homeowner has even heard of: top dressing with sand. If you've ever wondered how golf courses get that perfectly flat, smooth, carpet-like surface with no bumps or dips anywhere, this is how they do it. Once or twice a year during the growing season, they spread a very thin layer of sand across the turf, only about 1/4 inch, and work it down into the grass with the back of a rake or a leveling tool. Here's what that quietly accomplishes: the sand trickles down into all the little low spots and hollows, leveling out the bumps and ruts that make a lawn look rough and tired. Over time, it smooths the whole surface flat, and it improves the drainage so water stops pooling in puddles. Do this a few years running, and you slowly build that dense, even cushioned surface underfoot that you normally only ever feel out on a fairway. It's slow, it's humble work, and it flattens a lumpy yard better than anything else out there. Number 4 is the color secret, and it's probably not what you'd expect. When people want a deeper, richer green, most of them reach straight for a big bag of high nitrogen fertilizer. The trouble is that all that nitrogen forces a burst of fast growth, so yes, it greens up, but now the grass is shooting up so quickly that you're out there mowing every 3 days just to keep up with it. The pros use a different tool for color, and that tool is iron. A product with chelated iron in it, or one of the slow-release organic feeds that happens to be rich in iron, will deepen your grass to that dark, almost bluish golf course green without triggering all that frantic growth. You get the color without the constant mowing, Just go easy with the liquid iron products because a little bit goes a long way, and splashing it on your concrete can leave a rust stain behind. Follow the label, water it in well, and watch your lawn turn that showroom shade of green within a day or two. I'll be honest, I thought these health rings were a scam. I bought one half expecting to send it back. 3 months later, it hasn't left my finger. And it does way more than I expected. Sleep, heart rate, activity, recovery, my cycle, and stress, all from one little ring. The thing that helped me most? I realized my afternoon coffee was quietly wrecking my sleep. One small change, cutting it off after lunch, and within a week I was sleeping like a rock. Now here's why I'm telling you this. Right now, the ring's 63% off. Just $60 if you grab it through the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee if it's not for you. But I'm keeping mine. Number 5 fixes the mistake I see more than any other, and it's all about how you water. Most folks give their lawn a light little sprinkle every single day, which feels like the caring thing to do, but is actually just about the worst thing for it. Shallow daily watering trains the grass roots to stay right up at the surface, where they dry out the very moment you skip a day, and all that constant surface moisture invites fungus and disease. Golf courses do the exact opposite. They water deeply and infrequently. Your lawn wants roughly 1 inch of water a week, counting whatever rain falls, and it is far better to deliver that in 1 or 2 long, soaking sessions than in 7 little daily ones. The deep soak drives the roots down deep into the soil, chasing after that water. And deep roots are what make a lawn tough, green, and able to shrug off a dry spell. Water early in the morning, before the sun climbs high. So less of it evaporates away and the grass isn't left sitting wet all through the night. Less often, but deeper. That's the whole rule, and if you want to know when you've actually put down an inch, set an empty tuna can out on the grass while the sprinkler runs, and shut it off once the can is full. It's the simplest little measuring trick there is. Number 6 tackles a problem you can't even see: compacted soil. Over time, from foot traffic, from mowing, from rain, and just plain gravity, the soil underneath your lawn slowly packs down hard as a road. And once soil gets compacted like that, air, water, and nutrients can't work their way down to the roots, so the grass struggles no matter what else you throw at it. The fix is called core aeration, and it's exactly what the courses do. You run an aerator across the lawn, which is a machine that pulls up thousands of little plugs of soil and leaves holes behind. Those holes let the ground breathe again, and they open a path for water and roots to travel deep. You can rent an aerator for an afternoon and split the cost with a neighbor, since the two of you only need it once a year anyway. Do it during the growing season. Leave the little plugs lying to break down on their own, and you'll be amazed how much thicker the grass comes back in. Sometimes the best thing you can do for a lawn is poke a few thousand holes in it. Number 7 is how you get that thick, dense turf with no thin or bare patches: overseeding. Here's a simple truth about lawns. A thick, full lawn is your single best weapon against weeds, because when the grass grows in dense enough, there's simply no bare ground left and no sunlight reaching the dirt for a weed seed to sprout in. The grass crowds them out before they even get a chance to start. So, once a year, ideally in the fall for most lawns, you spread fresh grass seed right over the top of your existing lawn, paying special attention to any thin or worn down spots. This is also your golden chance to get that uniform, all one color look by choosing a good quality seed that matches the type of grass you've already got growing. Aerating first and then overseeding is a powerful 1-2 punch, because the fresh seed falls down into all those little holes and takes root beautifully. A little seed every single year keeps your lawn getting thicker and fuller, instead of slowly thinning out the way neglected lawns always do. Number 8 is the mowing discipline that separates a fairway from a hayfield, and it really comes down to 2 simple rules. First, never cut off more than 1/3 of the height of the grass in any single mow. If your grass is 3 inches tall, you bring it down to 2 and no shorter. Scalping it lower than that shocks the plant, burns it brown, and rolls out the welcome mat for weeds. Second, mow more often than you probably do right now. The reason golf courses look so flawless and uniform is that they cut just a little bit, very often, rather than a whole lot every once in a while. And here's a bonus rule the pros never break: change your mowing direction every single time you go out. If you went north to south last week, go east to west this week. Mowing the exact same way every time presses ruts down into the ground and slowly trains the grass to lean over in one direction. Switching it up keeps every blade standing tall and straight, which catches the light evenly and looks clean and sharp from any angle you view it. One quick note on height, since people always ask. Real greens are mowed shockingly low because they use special grass and special mowers, so don't try to scalp your yard down to match. For a normal home lawn, cutting a touch on the lower side of what your grass type likes and mowing often gets you that tight, manicured look without stressing the grass to death. Number 9 is the unglamorous foundation that every professional starts from and almost every homeowner skips right over: testing your soil. Here's the thing you have to understand. You can dump all the fertilizer in the world onto your lawn, but if the soil chemistry underneath is off, the grass simply cannot use it. And you're just throwing good money onto the ground. Grass grows best when the soil sits in a certain sweet spot, somewhere right around 6.5 on the pH scale, not too acidic and not too alkaline. For about $15 or $20, you can grab a simple soil test kit or mail a small sample off to your local extension office, and it will tell you exactly what your soil is short on and whether that pH has drifted out of range. If it's turned too acidic, a little lime brings it right back. If it's gone the other way, a bit of sulfur handles it. It isn't the exciting part, I'll admit, but knowing your numbers is what makes every other thing on this list actually work. And we'll finish with the two things that put the final polish on absolutely everything: crisp edges and getting out ahead of the weeds. First, edging. This one is almost like magic because a sharp, clean edge along your driveway, your walkways, and your garden beds instantly makes the entire lawn look intentional and manicured, even when the grass itself is only average. Run an edger or even just a flat spade along those borders a few times a season, and the whole yard suddenly snaps into focus. Second, stop the weeds before they ever show their faces. The pros rely on something called a pre-emergent, which you spread in the early spring before the soil warms up. It doesn't kill the weeds you can already see. Instead, it forms a barrier that stops weed seeds like crabgrass from ever sprouting in the first place. Timing is everything with it, so lay it down right when the earliest trees are just starting to bloom. Between crisp, clean edges and weeds that simply never come up, your lawn quietly crosses the line from niche into genuine golf course territory. And there's your 10. Notice that not a single one of these needs a professional crew or a shed full of expensive machinery. A sharp blade, a deep soak, a little seed and sand, and a good dose of patience will carry you most of the way to a lawn the whole street is jealous of. Pick a couple to start with this season, stack the rest on overtime, and watch your yard slowly transform into the green carpet you always figured was out of your reach.